Hello everyone, I am Toby Mockler, the Head of Facilities at Homestead High School. For our school celebration of Black History Month, and as an Australian, I wanted to talk about an individual from my country's Indigenous population. From a group that includes such people as Albert Namatjira, the first internationally recognised Indigenous artist, to Yvonne Goolagong, a gifted female tennis player who became a Wimbledon champion, I selected Charles Perkins. Perkins was born in Alice Springs to biracial parents. He was an activist, an athlete, and a human rights champion, and went on to have a long career in federal administration. As an athlete, he was an accomplished soccer player who played professionally in both Australia and England, and through his skills as a sports administrator, he became the head of Soccer Australia. As a student, he was the first Aboriginal Australian to graduate from any tertiary institute when he gained a Bachelor of the Arts from the Sydney University in 1966. This led him into a career in human rights activism. Perkins was one of the key figures in the 1965 Freedom Rides, a bus tour through rural New South Wales to protest and highlight the discrepancies that Indigenous people faced in living conditions, healthcare and education at the time. He was also active in the lead up to the 1967 referendum, which was held to pass amendments to the Constitution to allow the inclusion of Aboriginal peoples in the census and to give Parliament the right to legislate specifically for the Indigenous populations. In 1969, he began a career as a public servant in the Federal Office of Aboriginal Affairs and became the permanent secretary of that department in 1981. The first Aboriginal man to hold such a post. After leaving this position in 1988, he went on to become Deputy Chairperson of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders Commission. Throughout his career, he was a strident critic of any organisation that displayed racist politics. The Australian government itself bore the brunt of many of his fiery comments. Former Prime Minister Bob Hawke commenting that Perkins finds it difficult to observe the constraints usually imposed upon the permanent heads of departments because he had a burning passion for advancing the interests of all Indigenous peoples. He received numerous accolades and awards throughout his life for his civic services, including being made an Officer of the Order of Australia in 1987. Perkins passed away in 2000, an ardent activist for Indigenous rights until the end.